All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And I do have share screen ability, but we're also joined by Miss Kathy Evans at Ridgeland High School and Mr. Keith Chadwick at Germantown High School. And we're also recording for all the other high schools at Madison Central and here at Velma Jackson as well. And if they have any questions at the end, I will see their questions and I'll be able to relay those to you.
Perfect.
All right. So you can take it away here, Mr. Hill, and home of the 2021 NCAA National Champion Baseball Bulldogs.
That's us. That is us.
So the floor is yours, my man. Take it away.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hope everybody can hear me. I'm going to throw it over to this little PowerPoint super quickly, and we're just going to start it from the beginning. So everybody see that? We're good to go?
Yeah, everybody sees you.
Perfect. All right. Well, first of all, guys, my name is Brooks Hill. I'm the new admissions counselor from Mississippi State here in Madison County. So my whole region goes Madison County, Hinds County, and then it goes down into Southwest Mississippi and parts of Northeast Louisiana as well. But, my main territories where the most kids come to Mississippi State is in Madison, Hinds County. So I will be around here often, and I will be in your schools and in your classrooms very, very soon. I know I have scheduled for Germantown and Ridgeland coming up, and Velma Jackson I'm working as well to be there very soon. So I'll get to meet y'all in person, get to talk to y'all in person. So if you do have any questions, like Mr. Greg said, you can hold this question to meet me in person, but also I'll drop my contact information at the end. I've got this big brick of a work phone right here, and it weighs about 20 more pounds than a regular phone, but I tell you what, it works, and that's a great way for you to communicate with me. If you just got any, regular questions, whatever it is, but just when you text me and call me, I just ask that you say your name and say what high school you're from, just so I know it's not a random number, and I'm not just texting some random person back. I don't want to be like helping nobody out here. I want to make sure that I'm helping the right people. So just hit me up with your name and your what high school you go to. That'd be super helpful. And right before I get started, I just want y'all to know I'm a regular guy. I'm not sent up from the higher ups or anything like that. I'm just, I'm 24. I just graduated from Mississippi State. I had a bachelor's in communication. Public relations was my emphasis there. And so, I'm fresh off the block from Mississippi State, and I know a lot about just the college experience and what it's like. So if you have just regular college questions, even if you're not going to Mississippi State, my job is not to convince you to go to Mississippi State because all the other schools are bad or they stink, right? My job is to just make sure that you're prepared 100% to walk through this experience of getting ready for college and make sure that you have everything you need. That is my job.
Absolutely. That's good stuff.
Yeah. And so don't feel like, sit from the higher ups to, tell you all the information and to, throw you into the fire. I just want to make sure that you're prepared all the way through the whole process, and hopefully that, what I talk about Mississippi State right here, hopefully that, sparks your interest and you do want to, come check it out. And there's many ways to do that, which I'll talk about. So, but first of all, just some background about Mississippi State. We have 4,200 acres of campus, so that means we are the second largest campus nationwide acreage-wise. That does not mean that all of our buildings that you go to school in and you have classes in are spread out amongst those acres, right? That's just like a generic thing that we say that we are a very large campus, and there's a bunch of open space and stuff that we do with the agriculture school as well. A lot of that space is just field space or forest space or whatever it may be. So know that the campus where your classes will be on campus in Starkville is not the entire acreage. It's not that big, but know that that's part of Mississippi State. That's something we're proud of. And we're also sitting, that says 22,000. We're sitting right under 23,000 right now. So that makes us the second small.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's you're fine. The last thing we heard is that you're just under 23,000.
Okay, cool. Let me reshare the screen then.
Oh, no problem.
All right, there we go. Cool. All right, so we're just under 23.
Of course.
Around with you. It really is like a good situation that you're in, and we like to say it's very family oriented. And sorry if my Wi-Fi is just terrible right now. I apologize for that. But founded in 1878 as well as Mississippi A&M Agricultural and Mechanical. So that's where we're like founded on, and we go back, laid our foundations in school and a land grant school, but now we've grown into much, much more. And our programs have just evolved into, nationally recognized programs. And so,
Absolutely.
talking about that, we've got 180 majors and concentrations, and like to say, unlimited possibilities. That's also unlimited resources for y'all as students coming in. And so you can just look at these pictures here, and there's pottery going on, but that falls under our ag and life sciences college. Or you have photography over here, but actually that student is in wildlife and fisheries, and she's in forestry, and she's doing outdoor research. Or you have our engineering programs, or you have our workshops, which goes under our BCS, which is building construction science. Or if you see obviously the giant rocket there, which we work on in engineering as well. So there's like so many different possibilities and things to get into at Mississippi State. Also, you see the dog there. That's for our vet program, if anybody's interested in that as well, because that's one of our big things that we hang our hat on as well. Is we have one of the best vet schools in the nation, and one of the few in the SEC as well. And so I can take that firsthand. My one of my cousins, one of my uncles owns a veterinary place in Jackson at the moment, and so they both went to Mississippi State, and so they hang their hat on it. Wow, it's like one of the best programs in the nation, but also it's not something that's like out of the reach. A lot of veterinary programs are very competitive, which ours still is very competitive, but it's something you can do. It's not something you can't handle. And so we want people who are truly interested in that to, reach out to us and see what they can do. We have an early entry vet program. We allow students to be a part of, and then also there's multiple undergraduate majors that you can get that kind of set you up for success for the vet program as well. So just a little background on all our majors and stuff going on. And then also we're looking at, hey, Mississippi State's a fun time. You're not, it is college, and you're there to get a degree. And you have to treat that degree as serious as you want to treat it. It's kind of, like I tell other high schools when I go talk to students, guys, it's kind of, you're in the mindset of at high school, if you don't show up to class and nobody really knows who you are, you're probably going to get a phone call, or, one of your teachers probably knows your parent or something like that. There's a personal connection somewhere where somebody's wondering why you're not in class on what day is it, Wednesday, right? In college, it's kind of, hey, it's up to you to go to that 8 a.m. Wednesday class. And some days it might be cold, and some days it might be rainy. You got to go. But that's just one thing that, like, also our professors are in the same mindset as high school professors of they want to get to know you. And you just have to take that initiative to get to know them first. But as you can see, there's just multiple ways to get plugged in, whether that's Greek life, whether that's SA, whether that's New Maroon Camp, like I said, whether that's music makers, whether that's there's just so many off the top of my head I can't even think about all the ways that you get plugged in. And once you start or you come to orientation, they give you more information on that. So yeah. And then basically here's the most important part here. If you haven't been listening, you can tune in right now. For you guys, if you have not applied to the university yet, I'll say, hey, your first step, apply to the university. So what we take at Mississippi State is a 16 on the ACT or a 2.5 GPA, or an 18 on the ACT and a 2.0 GPA. That's like our deadline of like, hey, you're going to get admitted to the university. Now, if you want to start making those scholarships in state, you're going to have to, let me put this on silent. You're going to have to make at least a 20 on that ACT to start receiving scholarships. And that's automatic academic scholarships for Mississippi State. And then once you start making that higher ACT score, that's where more and more money comes into. And so just know that if you have not applied yet, it's a $40 application fee, and then we just need your transcripts and your ACT scores and your GPA, of course. So that's what we base it on, and scholarships are a big thing. Like right now, we're pushing those applications because we want you to apply. We want you to see like all the unlimited resources that you can have and the possibilities you can have at Mississippi State. They say Mississippi State's top ranked in the top 20 in the nation at universities. Of the best investment or best bang for your buck is what we say. And so our job rate after college, after graduation, is over 90%.
Wow.
So that means that basically if you take care of your stuff at college and you go to class and you meet your professors and you do everything you're supposed to do, which is not very hard, I'll say that from experience, you're going to get a job after college like I did, and I got a job in Mississippi State. So that's just how it works. And so that's like right now you're in a position of I just got to get the ACT up or I'm good to go. I'm already, set. But right now we're just saying ACT prep, maybe bump your score up 1 or 2 points, and that could equal, $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 more dollars of scholarship money. So now you're looking at, in 4 years, you're not looking at a giant student debt loan that you're having to, face while, you're in this new job and you're just trying to figure out a new place that you're living and all this stuff. So that's what we're facing right now is just ACT and applications. So if you have not applied, I just suggest that you go to apply.msstate.edu and just check it out. Just go look at it, even if it's not what you're super interested in, but you can just go check it out. And if you have any questions, again, I'm going to drop my contact information so they can share it. But yeah, and y'all just, if you have any questions, you can hit me up. But again, the next deadline that's the most important.
All right, Brooks, let me stop you real quick. You went out, you said the last thing we heard was the next date that is the most important.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, sorry about that. So October 1st is the next date that is the most important. And it is because of financial aid scholarships open or applications open and scholarship applications open. And so financial aid is the FAFSA, and we want you to fill out the FAFSA as soon as possible on that October 1st date. That just gets you priority within processing all of those so you can get your money faster, basically.
Yeah, and I hate to stop you there, but one thing, you've talked about two things that we've talked about in the district, and I know everybody else watching this and people watching this later are going to need to hear this. The district is really pushing this ACT practice, and we're doing ACT practice every day in class.
Totally.
And like you just said, the ACT is going to be the tiebreaker on a lot of these scholarships, and just 2 or 3 points can mean several $1,000s in scholarships. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, 100%. So I'd give you a prime example. I talked to a student yesterday, and if she bumps her score up one more, she's going to get $2,500 more dollars.
Oh, that's awesome. And we will all be filling out the FAFSA in class here in the next few weeks as well.
Perfect.
That goes for all 4 high schools. We're all doing the same thing, and all 4 of the high schools will be walking through in this new class the FAFSA application process.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what comes through the FAFSA? You may ask. You might have heard of the Pell Grant that comes through the FAFSA. But also with scholarships, you're going to get that automatic academic scholarship if you qualify for it. But there's also many, many others that, come along. That December 1st is the next date. And that's when the priority scholarships are due. So just make sure that even though it opens October 1st, you might not get to it immediately, but we want to make sure that you get it done before December 1st. And then in the spring, that's when, if you're applied and you're admitted and you're coming to Mississippi State and you're coming to Starkville, that's when we want you to come to Starkville and really visit with the orientation and all that good stuff. And also, I don't know how many people are already like applied and admitted or coming 100%. But for them, our housing application opens October 1st as well. And so that's basically, when you put your application in first and you submitted it, you got a timestamp. And that timestamp just goes in order of like who did it first to who did it, most recently, which was probably like 10 minutes ago, right? So, but then you put your housing priority list of like, hey, I want to live in the new dorms, Davenport, and then maybe I want to live in Oak and Magnolia, and then maybe I want to live in North or wherever it may be, right? You just put that priority list of what you think would be best for you, and then based on your timestamp, that's how we assign housing. So And then in the spring that gets into your orientation and your housing and all that good stuff as well. So, and here's the big scary numbers that you're going to have to look at. So in-state, obviously, we're looking at that 19,850 number. But those scholarships that I'm talking about and the ACT scores that I'm talking about, that's where you kind of cut down on that number by doing the work ahead of time, right? And so when you're doing that ACT prep, like for me, I had a 19 as a junior, and I ended up with a 27 as a senior, and that's because I did 2 hours of ACT prep a week. 2 hours. It's not a lot. Set aside a Tuesday and Thursday, you do 2 hours. Tuesdays and Thursdays are boring days anyway. So just do an hour on Tuesday and do an hour on Thursday of just like sit down and just work on something with ACT.
You're getting it in class for free.
Yeah, and you're getting it in class for free. So there you go. There's your 2 hours. And so just work on it and maybe go home and work on whatever, we like to say that, or I like to say personally, if you're good at reading, then work on the reading, because we take that super score. And so if you're sitting at 20s across the board, but then your reading sitting at like a 25, let's jack that reading up. So you're making a 27, 28, 29 on your reading. And then you can, work on a little math. And then that just like that cumulative score just goes up.
Wow.
And so we take that super score for the scholarships. And so we want y'all to be as successful as possible in the ACT to get the most money as possible for scholarships as well. So, but know that's your price looking for in-state. And I know out-of-state people, there's probably not any in the room. So I'm going to skip over that. Scholarships again. Here's just a list of the ones that we provide. This is just general stuff. And so this is the October 1st date again. That's your main date you're looking at. You've got your academic excellence, which comes automatic. Colbert Future Leader, which just comes automatic based on your GPA and your scholarship combined. So if you're sitting at maybe a 24 on the ACT and you have over a 3.5 GPA, that's where you qualify for some of those. You've got specific departmental scholarships. So if you are going into the Bagley College of Engineering, or going to the College of Forestry, or if you're going in to the College of Business, whatever that may be, some of those have specific departmental scholarships. You've got private scholarships, which are something that other organizations hand out, and we apply them to your tuition. Phi Theta Kappa, which is transfer, community colleges, non-resident, Red or White, Veterans Waiver, Eagle Scout, Gold Award, Boy State, Girls State, PTK president, officers is like if you were a student body president, or if you were a salutatorian or valedictorian or whatever that may be, we give scholarships for those as well. So if you are the valedictorian, if you're looking to be the valedictorian or salutatorian, if you're up there, know that we give scholarships for that as well. And so if you have any questions about that, we'd love to talk to you, and we'd love to get you plugged in with the right people as well. So that goes across the board of, if there's anybody in the room who that applies to, I'd love for y'all to text me. For y'all to shoot me an email if you're interested, and just get you plugged in with the right people, because we want to make sure that y'all succeed as well, and you get the money that's coming to y'all. So, and the big thing is, I know a lot of people who applied, they say, hey, I've been to Starkville before. I've been to a Mississippi State football game or baseball game or whatever it may be. But one thing that we want y'all to do is come see campus as it is on a regular Tuesday, on a regular Thursday. We want you to come see those regular days and just see what campus life is like. And so that campusvisit.msstate.edu is a great resource. It's just going to ask you a few introductory questions about yourself, and then just work with your parents or work with whoever's home with you. Pick a day, come up here with mom or dad or grandma or aunt and uncle, whoever it is. We don't care who you come with, but just come up there and just have a good time. You get to sit down, you get to talk with us as admissions counselors, and you get to talk with our road runners. That's actually my good friend Brian right there. And Brian is taking a guy on a tour, and he's just walking around. He's talking about, if you look on the building on the left, that is McCool, and that's our business college building right there. And so that's where you find your entrepreneurship college, and that's where you find our Entrepreneurship Labs, which is where they, I don't know if anybody's heard of the company Glow, but they make those Glow ice cubes. And now they're making, I couldn't even tell you the amount of money they're making, but they're going on tour conventions, and they're going on this crazy stuff, and they started in Starkville, Mississippi right there in McCool. So that's a really cool thing. and also just the personal connections you make in Mississippi State is the fact that they showed me this presentation about 2 months ago. I said, hey, I know that guy. Isn't that crazy? And so you just make those connections at Mississippi State as well. And so
the preview day, the on-campus visits, official visits are excused by the district. So you guys would be able to provide documentation, and the school district would be able to make those excused absences on our end.
100%. Yeah. So if y'all want to not come to school, which I mean, love school. I know you do a lot of good things over at the high schools. But hey, if you want to miss a day and come start, we'll have a good time with us. Go to campusvisit.msday.edu and plan you one, and we will get you an official excuse. So, sweet. And then, hey, contact information. This is our home office contact information, but let me drop it in the chat real quick. My phone number. Okay, there's my phone number.
And they're all able to see that right now.
Okay, perfect. There's my email address. So I've got this, like I said, I got this big breakable microphone on me, and just text me your name and what high school you're from. If you got any questions, just hit me up. Just let me know if I don't know the answer, I will find out for you. I promise. I've got those resources that I can reach out and find out the answer for you. So, but hey, like we said, the main things right now is your October 1st. That's your scholarship application and your financial aid. That's your deadline for that. That's like your main thing coming up next. And if you have not applied already, I encourage you just to apply. Just see what we got. Go online and just look at our majors, see what we can provide, and just get your name in our system just so we can reach out and you can just learn more. Even if you might be 99.9% sure going to Ole Miss or going to Southern or go to community college, and that's awesome. But we just want to make sure that you're prepared all the way and you don't like see something that might spark your interest a little bit more, or maybe you just want to see what it is. And again, another thing with community college is, hey, my dad went to community college. I'm a big fan of community college because, hey, it's a great financial decision that you're making to go to community college, and you're setting yourself up for success to really get into your curriculum. So, hey, if you want to go to community college, you can reach out and let us know that. Still go ahead and apply. And hey, we'll reach out to you in a year and a half and be like, hey, send us those transcripts and let's get you over to Starkville and let's get you going in business or, education or agriculture or engineering or whatever it may be. So.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be my first question for you is obviously we have great partnerships with the community colleges as well, especially Hines and Holmes, but I know you guys also have partnerships with these places. And I know Holmes even has the advertising campaign with you guys, Bulldog for Life, Holmes Bulldog, Mississippi State Bulldog. And can you explain a little bit about if they do choose to go the community college route, you guys will work with those departments to make sure everything is going to transfer for their area of study that they would have when they get to Starkville.
Oh, 100%. So yeah. So what you're doing, like community college, basically, you're going to be in the same atmosphere as high school, right? You're going to be in the smaller classrooms with a more personal connection, but you're still going to get those freshman classes out of the way. So you're taking your biologies and your human APs and your college algebras and all that good stuff. But then you're going to get in your second year of community college, you're going to get a little more, laid out of like, hey, if you want to go civil engineering, here's like some very introductory civil engineering classes, but they're going to set you up for success for taking those. The thermodynamics is a class I'll throw out there, and don't let that scare you because you're going to be prepared for it. But those are the type of classes you'll be taking. Or like water displacement, where you're learning how water moves through pipes and how, all that good stuff works. I don't know. I'm a communication major, so I don't really know how that stuff works. But just know that community college is a great route, but we want you to be successful there and then be like, hey, maybe in high school you weren't really the best student, and that's totally okay, but you went to community college and it clicked for you, and now you've got even better grades in community college. So send us that community college transcript, go get Phi Theta Kappa, be an outstanding student in community college, and then that sets you up for even more scholarship money from Mississippi State in the future. So you can come to Starkville, have a great 2 or 2.5 years or whatever it may be. Maybe even get a co-op if you're an engineer or education or something like that, or business especially. And so maybe you get a co-op or an internship, make some money during a summer and a semester, and come back and finish your degree, and then you'd be set up. And so then you'd have, if I'm not wrong, you'd have an associate degree, a bachelor's degree, and internship experience, and some
Wow.
money in your pocket.
That's definitely something on paper. Now, before we started with you, we did watch a few short videos you guys have on YouTube, and one of the things was really pushing the family atmosphere. And you just said there's over 22,000 students, and I went to Madison Central, and it was a big school. But then even me going to Southern Miss, which is it's another large college, it is very easy to get lost in the shuffle, no matter what you're used to. So, what are some ways, especially with us at Velma Jackson, a small school, and even original Madison Central Germantown, even though there's a big high schools, it's still not as big as 22,000. So, what are some ways that students incoming, especially freshmen, how can they find a way to not get lost in the shuffle on campus?
Totally. I think one thing is when you come to Mississippi State, orientation really gets you plugged in. But also there's ways as a freshman to just get to know people, and that's you have a mentor when you first get to Mississippi State. And so as a freshman, you will have somebody that's kind of looking out and just texting you and just letting you know it's not going to be weird. It's not like they're stalking you or anything, but they're just making sure that you are doing everything. You're not having panic attacks, anxiety attacks. That's a main thing that we have looked at and know, especially in the past year, that's a major concern for a lot of people. And so we want to make sure that you're taken care of and you're feeling safe and ready to go to class and ready to interact. But New Maroon Camp is one of those things that is an easy way to get plugged in. And also just if you just walk in the Union, if you walked on campus those first few weeks, there are tents set up all across the drill field for you to get plugged in ways that might interest you. And so you look at BCU, or you looked at those internships or college jobs or whatever it may be. And one thing Mississippi State does really well is they send out emails of opportunities for students. And so that's how I got my college job. So at college, I worked at Hail State Productions, but I worked the live TV side of it. And so I worked camera for all live sports on campus at Mississippi State. So whether that was softball, women's basketball, men's basketball, baseball, football, volleyball, whatever it was, I worked camera for those live events. And so I was like on the field when we won a super regional. I was in the camera well when, if you remember, Garrett Schrader did the helicopter flip in the air a few years ago. I was on top of the Leo Seal building watching it happen and laughing along with you. So just like those moments for me are memorable, but that job came from a random email that got sent out, right? And so those opportunities just come, and you just have to be open to it and just ready to pounce on them when they come. I think that's a big thing. Like I said, when you get to high school, the teacher in high school, like Mr. Greg, you're gonna, see Johnny over in the corner, and Johnny's gonna be on his phone, and you're gonna tell Johnny, "Hey, get off your phone." In college, they're not gonna tell Johnny to get off his phone. They're just gonna let Johnny, miss that lecture for the day. So it's on Johnny at that point to take the initiative to go to class and learn what he needs to know for class to take the test to be successful to move on in college. So it's taking a step. It's definitely taking a step, personally and being personally developed. But there's more than unlimited resources for you to just get plugged in at Mississippi State. And so also, as a freshman, you're going to live in a dorm. So you'll have a roommate. Some of you might already have one picked out, or you're looking, or whatever it may be. So we have a roommate, and then each hallway on the dorm has an RA, and they make sure that, hey, there's no craziness going on in the hallways, but also that you're taken care of and you don't need anything, and your dorm works. So all that good stuff. So there are people and there are resources there for you at all times.
Okay. Well, I do have some questions I want to get to here, and these are all seniors. And this is Terrence Mack. He is our starting running back for the Velma Jackson Falcons.
Sweet.
And he asked, "What did you wish you had known before you started your freshman year?"
That's a really good question, Terrence. Man, I think I'll go back to, the first. So I lived on the north side of campus, and so if you walk all the way from the north side to the south side of campus, it's probably about 20-minute walk. It's a good hike, and most of it's uphill. And so I would say just be prepared to walk everywhere. It's not high school where you get to park at the front door and get out of your car and walk straight in the door and go to class, right? You're parking in your freshman parking, and you are walking to class and you're walking to your dorm and all that good stuff. So just be prepared for that. I know some people asked me that question a few days ago and they didn't really understand what that meant, or like parking decals and all that stuff. So just know, be on top of parking and be on top of, hey, I'm gonna have to walk everywhere. And so that's like a time management thing as well. Is, hey, if I have a class at 8, I can wake up at 7:35 and just throw on a t-shirt and shorts and not worry about it and walk to class and make it at 8. Or I can wake up at 7 and really get ready and prepare myself and have my coffee and take a shower and brush my teeth and eat a good breakfast, go to the Perry and eat a really good breakfast, go to the cafeteria and eat a good breakfast, and then have plenty of time to walk to my class and get 5 minutes early and shake the professor's hand and say, hey, I'm Terrence. It's nice to meet you. I'm excited for this class this year. Automatically, that's a name association. Wear something wild on the first day of class so he remembers you or something like that. And that's just a connection that you make. So, hey, personal experience for me, you get down the road and you have a fun thing you want to go to on a Friday. Hey, we all have it, right? And so on Friday you can go, hey, Mr. Smith, or hey, Dr. Smith, or whatever it is. I won't be here on Friday. I have a previous engagement. And they're going to go, well, hey, Terrence, I appreciate you letting me know. And I'll send you the slideshow we're going to go over. You're not going to miss anything terrible. And you go have a good time with whatever that is. They understand that, like, hey, you're an adult as well at that point. And so if you make that previous connection with a professor, they're more than likely to work with you on those type of things. Or, hey, accidentally overslept 15 minutes. If you already know that professor on a personal level, they're going to be like, hey, it happens. Don't worry about it. Right. But you could be on the flip side of that, is where, hey, you go to one class a week and then you're late and they're like, yeah, I don't like that, and then they can buckle down on you. So it's really up to you to make those decisions.
Yeah, and that's a great answer. I have two here that are basically asking the same thing. And this
Okay.
is Leah Jackson and Michael Williams, and they're both asking about the technology, IT, video game design type programs.
Okay. Now I will say that's not my cup of tea. That's not what I go up to. But I do know that software engineering is a big new thing that we
Oh yes.
have at Mississippi State. And that job rate is incredible because your engineering degree from Mississippi State, all these companies, you can name them, USG, IP, ExxonMobil, Chevron, all those giant engineering companies look at Mississippi State engineering students and say, hey, we want to hire those because they got hands-on experience. When you go over to software engineering, you still have that Mississippi State accredited engineering degree, but you're going to companies like Apple, or you're going to companies like Amazon. You're going to big tech companies that are making giant leaps in the world. And so I don't know like specifics on the video gaming and stuff like that, or game creation, but I do know that our software engineering program is very highly looked upon and is very highly accredited. So
and there's also a great relationship with the in-state companies like Ingalls and Pascagoula. I know they're big Mississippi State supporters, and that's the largest employer in the state of Mississippi.
100%.
Yeah, and they have
also you got,
right now.
hey, you got right down the road from me. I live in Madison at the moment. You got right down the road, and you got Nissan plant. Don't forget about the Nissan plant. Don't forget about the Army Corps engineers that hired a bajillion people a year. So, there's more opportunities than you think there are out there.
Okay, and we got another good question here from an athlete. This is Frederick Page, who's our starting point guard for the Jackson Falcons. And he's asking, how do you manage your study time if you're in sports and other activities? And would that make it hard for a freshman coming in?
Hey, when you're on sports and stuff, your coaches are going to 100% make sure that you're getting your stuff done. Don't feel like you're just going to have way too much stuff on your plate. Hey, you're required to take 12 hours to live on campus. Usually everybody takes 15. You're taking the 5 classes that are 3 hours apiece. And so, but never feel like that, especially if you're doing sports. If you're like with a Mississippi State team, might be talking to a select few here, but your coach is going to make sure that you have time to go to all your classes and get all your stuff done before you go to practice or go to games, because
that would be the same with the band or any other
whatever
members in here as well.
Totally, whatever else that you're 100% invested in, they know that you are a student dash athlete or a student dash whatever it may be first, and so they make sure that you are taking care of all that stuff first. But also as a normal student, that's where that initiative kind of stands up for yourself, is you have to like kind of take that step of time management and knowing that, hey, if I have a class at 8 to 9 and then I don't have another class from until 1 to 2 or whatever it may be, then take that time between those classes to kind of study and knock some stuff out of the way. So in the afternoon, you can maybe have some free time, and you don't have to just, lock down the whole entire day of being, you know, the studious locked in the room student. You can kind of go have fun or go check out those things, especially as a freshman. And so, but getting top of your homework and making sure that you do it first is a big thing. Just like in high school, like you want to knock that out so you can go have more free time, especially in college, because there's so many more things for you to go do. You got a little bit more freedom. So making sure that you knock your stuff that you need to out first, and then being able to go do all the freedom stuff is a big thing.
Okay, that's good stuff. Now, this is a good question. I know you gave us a lot of deadlines, but Alayla Middleton is asking, how long is the admission process?
So right now, if you were to apply today and put your transcripts and scores in, it takes about 7 days for us to go through the entire process and let you know if you're admitted or not. So we have those rolling admissions, and so it's not, hey, we can tell everybody at one time that you're admitted or not. It's rolling, and so it just tells you like on the timetable of when you apply. So
Okay. And I'm looking to see if we have any questions from any other schools. I can see the chat box if they have anything. So Miss Evans, Mr. Chadwick, if you have anything, just put it in the chat box. And we thank you so much for making time for us today. But what is it about? And I know you said you're not here to say the other schools suck, because they don't. But what is it about Mississippi State that makes it such a great place to be?
I tell you what, I love Mississippi State because, again, that family orientation that we talk about, it's truly another feel. And I have many other friends who can attest to that, who first went to said other schools. I'm not going to say their names, but they went to said other schools and they got there and they realized that it's not all it's cracked up to be, because the people just aren't as accepting. The people are really out for themselves, which, I mean, you do have to be a little selfish when you get into making sure all your stuff is done, but also Mississippi State wants to make sure that you're taken care of, and you're never going to be frowned upon about who you are, or what you want to be, or if you have a dream, or if you have that weird thing about you that just sets you apart. Nobody's going to look down upon you, frown upon you because of that. We want to accept you. We want to make you part of our Mississippi State family, and so that's what really makes it special, I think. And yeah, it's just a great place to be. Starkville's got a culture like any other. You really get plugged in. You really go to the Cotton District. When you get a little bit older, you get to go out and hit the town, and it's just something about being in Starkville and being with those people. It's just something, it creates like an environment and a vibe that I've never seen before. I've never seen anywhere else. And I'll tell you, I've been to Tennessee, and I've been to Alabama, and I've been to LSU, and I've been to Auburn, and Starkville just, there's something about it that really no other place can touch that feeling that Starkville gets. So
yeah, and again, and just speaking of Starkville, you're right about the district. There's some great restaurants down there. When I was there this summer, I ate at the Two Brothers Smokehouse, and that was some fantastic meat. It's so the incredible restaurants there. You've got a brand new Georgia Blue in town as well, and then I'll be a fat guy forever. I'm a big fan of the insomnia cookies. You can get cookies at 3:00 in the morning in Starkville, and that's not something you can do around here.
Totally.
And I agree. Starkville is a wonderful place to live, and even though, and you're like, it's a family atmosphere, and it's still not that far away from where we are in Madison County. It's a manageable distance from home, but it still gives you that capability to be away from home, like so many kids want to be.
Yeah, 100%. You're still 2 hours, so if you got an emergency or you need to go home for any reason, you can make that 2-hour drive, and if you leave at 10 a.m., you're home at noon. Right? Not bad at all. But also you're far enough away to where you're going to get that freedom of like, hey, I feel like an adult and I feel like I live here, because you do live there and you're part of the Starkville community. You're not just a student. You're truly a part of the Starkville community, and the Starkville community kind of embraces you in that. So, yes, sir. Sweet.
Oh, well, and we appreciate you so much for being with us today.
Yeah,
and hopefully we can get through all this COVID stuff and have you on campus more. We'd love to have you. And I'll make sure that all the other schools see this, and we'll get it out to all of our teachers. And if we have any questions, they've seen your contact information, and we'll make sure to get in touch with you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. If y'all got any questions, just hit me up, shoot me a text, shoot me an email, whatever it is. I'll be happy to help. And I know in the next few weeks, I've got scheduled to be in Ridgeland and Madison Central and Germantown, but I know I'm working on getting in Belmont Jackson as well. So I'll see y'all in person soon. If y'all got any questions, even if it's just regular about like the college experience, whatever it is, you can just hit me up. So I appreciate y'all.
Oh, that's awesome. Hail State.
Hail State. Y'all have a good one.
You too.